Hey, yay, hey, yay. Y'all all gathered here to discuss a rematch. There's much ado. Ryan Garcia has officially accepted a Devin Haney rematch. In this video, I'm going to let you know who said what, how it was said, and everything in between. And of course, I'll give you my thoughts. Let's get unpacked. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, deep down inside, you knew this was coming. You knew, if you're an avid watcher of this sport, the sport of boxing, you knew this moment was coming. Ryan Garcia has publicly put out that he has accepted a fight with Devin Haney, a rematch that the world of boxing has been asking for. I'm getting ready to let you know how this came about, exactly what was said, because I like to be transparent with my audience. And I don't want to beat around the bush and paraphrase. I want you guys to hear exactly how it went down. So allow me to pull it up and we'll get it cracking. Also, come in, smash the like button, that good stuff. So, Emmanuel Navarrete had a card with Eddie Hearn, and he won the fight against Sugar Nunez or whatever, stopped him. Devin Haney was in the building, and he was ringside next to Eddie Hearn. Now, I got to talk about this because you know the Haney-acts, they're not going to talk about what really goes on. And they're not going to talk about what's really good. I find it funny that there's a video on DAZN of Devin Haney, and he is walking up, and he's greeting the people from Matchroom and dapping them up, and also Eddie Hearn. Now, the reason it's funny is because you have a British promoter in Eddie Hearn, the complexion for the protection. And Eddie Hearn, since Devin is not his fighter anymore, right? Meaning they don't have paperwork. They're not actually, tethered to each other under a fight-by-fight basis. And Devin's kind of doing his own thing. Eddie Hearn has ripped Devin Haney and done interviews and made statements where the gloves were off. He was on Andre Ward podcast, and he was saying Devin Haney this. He talked about, Devin Haney might not be the same from the Ryan fight, and the team made mistakes in the Ryan, all this type of stuff. And then Devin Haney, who had a beef with him over some Joshua Dubois tickets or whatever, right? And he said that Eddie Hearn was the biggest, fakest snake or whatever, right? And then Bill Haney be going to his show. Bill Haney was at that show in Stockton trying to fight Lewis Crocker or get Lewis Crocker, right? Devin Haney's going to Matchroom shows. And I just find that funny because 1 minute, like let's say when after the Brian Norman fight, they interviewed Conor Benn, who left Eddie Hearn, but at the time he was with Eddie Hearn. They interviewed Conor Benn, and Eddie Hearn was right there. And they were both bagging on Devin's performance versus Brian Norman Jr., right? They were both like, Eddie Hearn especially, he was like, fight was boring, credit to him, but it was boring. It pretty much put Turkey and everybody in the front row asleep. This is what Eddie Hearn was saying. And then immediately after, Bill Haney was leading the team in a chant that said, F Eddie Hearn, F Eddie Hearn, F Eddie Hearn. They were chanting it. But then later you go to his show in Stockton, a rematch room card. And then now Devin Haney's going to another Eddie Hearn show. So I want the record to show who these people are, because the Haney's got problems with YouTube channels, but they don't say that to Eddie Hearn. And trust me, nothing that myself or other people have said is any worse than what Eddie Hearn has said about Devin being boring. I actually gave Devin credit for the Brian Norman performance. Eddie Hearn didn't. But then when you see him, you all chumming it up and dapping up and, oh, hey, what's up? So I want the record to show that, because on my Unpack, I get busy and we really unpack, and I don't beat around the bush. Now that that's out the way, for whatever reason, Devin Haney, even though Eddie Hearn always disrespect him in the interviews, he don't care. So he went on the zone, and then they pulled him aside and did like a little in-between round segment at the Eddie Hearn show, even though you said Eddie Hearn was a snake and the fakest ninja you ever met. But whatever, you're going to his shows, your daddy going to his shows, and then they asked you what's next, and he called out Ryan Garcia.
He's a monster.
You are the welterweight champion and a man in demand right now in that division. But the man you said you want is Ryan Garcia. Is that the fight you're looking for next?
Yeah, I mean, it has a storyline. It has the bad blood. It's a unification now, and it's the biggest fight in boxing. So it's a perfect fight to be made, and right now is the time.
What did you think of Ryan's performance?
I thought Ryan did what he was supposed to. I figured he would do that against Mario Barrios. Mario Barrios was a perfect opponent for Ryan.
Do you think things will be different with you the second time around?
Definitely.
Appreciate it, Devin.
Thank you. He's a monster.
Boom. So Devin, he's saying that he wants to fight Ryan Garcia. Now, again, let me take this off. I gotta be real, because the Haneyacks, they're not gonna do it. So it leaves me, the realest dude in the boxing game, to keep it real. So I've already went over and unpacked how Devin Haney and Bill Haney take shots at Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn takes shots at them, but then they keep going to his shows. Weird. Another thing that's weird is, in front of the DAZN cameras, Devin Haney's like, first of all, he kind of hating, because he was like, Ryan did what he was supposed to do. You can't really say that, because Ryan, what is he supposed to do? Like, I don't think he never been a champion. So he didn't really, I feel like saying somebody did what they were supposed to do, typically you see that a bit more with champions or like respected people in the game, favorites. I don't really even know that Ryan was like a heavy favorite. And even if he was on the sports book, a lot of people didn't have faith that he was going to beat Barrios. I've seen plenty of people, even your boy Ray Boom Boom Mancini, he was like, why y'all keep picking Ryan? I don't see nothing he do. And he was like, he might quit in the fight. So now that it's said and done, you got people who are like, oh, Ryan was supposed to win and he did what he was supposed to do. Not really. Because I don't think Ryan has really a precedence of what he's supposed to do. He not no long-standing champion. He just became a champion. So I'm giving full credit to Ryan. It could have been a difficult fight. He pulled it out. That's my opinion. Devin Haney said something different. But weirder than that, because that was just a sidebar on my show, Unpacked. We Unpacked, coming to you live. The weird thing is, and this is one of the things that I constantly talk about with this new generation, it drives me absolutely bonkers. This generation talk too much, and they get on social media too much, and then they're full of contradictions. And then you start looking at it, you're like, hold on. Ain't you the one that said this 2 weeks ago, 4 months ago? You said it, right? Just like I did earlier. You said all this stuff about Eddie Hearn, a snake, and he fake, and I can't believe it. You're no longer tethered to Eddie Hearn, but then you keep going to his shows and dapping him up. I don't know. They said they're from the Bay. I'm from the Bay, bro. I'm from Northern California. I don't know what part of the Bay is, because the Bay, we do it mobbing. Yay! The Bay, we do it moving. And I don't know what part of the town or what part of the Bay that is where you don't like somebody and then publicly diss them. They keep throwing you under the bus, talking about the Norman fight was boring, which it was a solid performance, and it was much better than the Ramirez performance. Yet and still, Eddie Hearn still dragged you for it. And then when you see Eddie Hearn, right, it's all good. But then you got smoke with fighters or smoke with YouTubers where you're like, you don't like what they say. And then it's a problem. Like you don't like what Tank says, Devin Haney will talk greasy to him. But then you don't like what Eddie Hearn's saying either. But then when you see him, you like, oh, hey, Eddie, hey, man, what's up? Good to see you. Weird. That the game is weird. And then the other thing that Devin said was the ship has sailed. I've already talked about it. This is what I'm talking about, this generation putting their foot in their mouth. Devin recently said that the ship has sailed because Ryan dropped out of VADA. Not my words. They was his words. He said that, right? The ship has sailed, meaning he was not interested in the Ryan fight no more. And you alluded to Ryan still being on that stuff, right? And the great thing about what I do in the sport of boxing, I am elite, the best in the business, and it's not even close. I know it, and I know you know it. The best thing that I do is I'm consistent, and I got a breadcrumb trail. Boom. This is on my page. Read it and weep. I keep the receipts on me. Devin Haney says the ship has sailed, direct quote, on the Ryan Garcia fight, and Rematch claims that he dropped out of VADA. This is what this man was saying at least on February 13th when I posted it. You see that. I got receipts. February 13th, you said the ship has sailed. Ryan was in VADA for the Barrios fight. Proof right there. Barrios confirmed it. And he was like, I wasn't going to speak on it. It's ridiculous. I seen the media and people claiming I'm not in VADA. Barrios confirmed it. Ryan confirmed it. The WBC confirmed it, right? Here's the WBC. Hey, to put the record straight, Ryan demanded to be tested in VADA, blah, blah, blah. But Devin said the ship had sailed right here. The ship sailed when Ryan dropped out of VADA testing, right? Boom. So this is highly confusing when the day before Valentine's Day, February 13th, Devin Haney is saying the fight is over. It's cooked. Ryan ain't doing VADA, so I'm not doing it. On top of that, Devin Haney, the night Ryan fought Barrios, put out a tweet where he was pretty much insinuating that Ryan was still juicy, right? He was like, Ryan still on that good juice. That's not even insinuating. That's pretty much saying it, right? Shakur even chimed in. And he was like, yeah, I said that in round one. So now in front of you put that on Twitter, both of those things, ship is sailed, Ryan on that good juice, right? In February. It's March 1st now. So a couple weeks ago, you think he's juicy, right? And he's still on something. He looked big and muscular. You think he's on juice still, right? You think he's still on Ostarine. But then now on DAZN, you saying you want to fight him. I'm confused. And then again, the Haneyacks are not going to talk about that. And everything I feel like I just said was valid. Where are we at with it? What changed? Because the ship has sailed comment, February 13th-ish, I posted about it. I just showed you it, right? So, okay, you said Ryan ain't doing VADA, which I've proven to be wrong because the Barrios did have the VADA testing, right? And you said the ship has sailed because Ryan ain't doing VADA. Then a couple weeks later when he fought Barrios, right, Devin said he looked like he on juice still. You didn't say he looked like, you said he is on juice, which I have the receipts for that too. And then 2 weeks after that, you talking about, oh, I really want to fight Ryan. It's a great backstory. I thought the ship sailed. Bro, this is what I'm talking about with this new generation all over the place. That's why if anybody don't like Boxingego, they probably got the receipts pulled on them, period. Or if it's a fan, they don't like what I'm saying because it's true. This is weird. It's weird behavior that in the span of 30 days, you went from ship is sailed to confirming you still believe Ryan is juicy to weeks later. So nothing changed. You still think he's on drugs. That's what you publicly put out. So what changed from Ryan Barrios to the Sugar Nunez Navarrete fight yesterday to the point where you're like, oh, I want to fight him. It's a big fight. So either something's going on, something gave you a change of heart like the game, right? Either you don't have no other options to make the money or something like that. You don't have no other opponents. So you know you have to fight them, or maybe you don't really want to fight or whatever. But it's hard for me to believe that you truly want the Ryan rematch when you're not consistent. I tell y'all all the time, a man has to be congruent with what he says, period. If he ain't doing that, then it's hard for me to like really believe it. Devin also posted this in response to Ryan, who called him out. Let's start our VADA testing so we can make the biggest fight in boxing. Bro, the kid is all over the place. First, you said the ship has sailed because Ryan dropped out of VADA. I proved that wrong. The WBC proved it wrong. Ryan showed the paperwork. As of me recording the video, I haven't heard anything about Barrios or Ryan Garcia testing positive, right? And when I say this stuff, the foolish Haniacs, they're going to say, oh, man, you're caping for Ryan. Oh, man, you're a Ryan fan. I ain't a fan of nobody. Most of my fighters are retired. The fighters I would cape for, or whatever you want to say, they all gone. They dead or retired. I'm just doing my job, and I'm showing you receipts. So for me, it don't really look like Devin truly want the fight, even though it could happen, and he might be like forced into the fight in the end. But and again, the reason I believe this is because you're not even consistent with what you're saying, right? Now, Ryan did respond. He posted a fan-made photo, Garcia Haney too, and he says, Haney, it's time to end you. It's time. I think he meant this time. You will be erased. I heard you speaking my name. He said, I heard you were looking for me. Here I go, right? You will be erased. I heard you speaking my name. If this is what you want, let's start the negotiations and the discussions. Mark my words, you'll never fight again after this. So let that sink in and accept it before you say yes. Fear the Lord. War is declared. And Ryan continued, let this post indicate I've accepted and I'm happy to start negotiations, point blank, period, war, right? Make us proud. You're going to fight with a monkey. Oh, we got racist people in the comments. That's what's up from Ryan fans. But anywho, the reality is, aside from the stupid racist fans, make the fight. Point blank, period, make the fight. And I feel Ryan has been more consistent with wanting to fight. Like, Devin Haney's team was talking about banning Ryan for life. That's what they were saying, right? They was like, ban him for life. So how can you say you want a rematch if you want someone banned to the point where they'll never be able to fight again? But again, the Haniacs and the Haniac content creators, they glaze over this so they can glaze Devin Haney, right? Right? Ryan responded and said, let's start to Devin saying, let's start our VADA testing. And then Ryan says, we can start now, no worries. So boom, that sounds like good progress, right? You want VADA testing? He said we can start right now. And it absolutely should be a clean fight. Ryan has a lot to prove in that department. We know you hurt Haney and all that type of stuff, but can you do it and then pass all your tests? Ryan says, Devin Haney doesn't understand he is the B-side. Ha, ha, ha. I agree with that. Bottom line, I really believe fight of the summer. Fans, if you really want this Haney fight, demand it. With everything I'll do it next, but I need intensity. So he's telling the fans to get involved and push for it, right? I feel like Devin would be in a better position if he just keep it on one track. Either you want to rematch him or you don't. Either you need that lick back or you don't. But being all over the place and saying like, oh, Ryan's a cheat and he's juicing. To be honest, it looked like Shakur and Devin maybe didn't expect Ryan to dominate Barrios and look how he did. And they were probably hoping that he didn't do as good. Because Ryan got a weird career. Let's be real. He looked, it's like weird. If you look at his last fight, Tank fight, he got cooked, did nothing. Duarte, it was like mid, but he got the stoppage over what we now know to be a good fighter, Duarte, right? The Rolly fight, you looked horrible. No, the Devin fight, you looked good, but then popped dirty. Got suspended for a year. Looked horrible on the comeback with Rolly. Got dropped in the fight. Didn't really do anything. And then you came back and looked phenomenal versus Barrios and became a champion. So I don't know. He got to get his life. I don't know what he got going on, but his career has been like this. So the rematch would definitely be big, and it would definitely prove something. All fighters got to pass all drug tests, right? That goes what I was saying. But I definitely want to see it. And I know I told y'all that I'd rather see the Shakur fight with Ryan, but I said if Devin can fight Keyshawn and Shakur fight Ryan. But it don't look like Devin's going to fight Keyshawn, and Shakur is demanding rehydration clauses and saying he probably won't go to 147. I got to unpack coming up on that. So for me, I don't even care about that fight because I don't think Ryan can make one sub 147 and have anything to give. He ain't making 140. And if he does, like, I'm not saying he can't make 140, but I believe he can't make 140 and actually perform and be a threat. That's what I'm saying. Not like there's people you can hit on the scale and be about to faint and look horrible the next day. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about fight at 140 against Shakur and produce and get the victory. I don't see that. So give me Haney, give me Ryan Garcia, part 2. They both agreed to the VADA. Ryan saying right now he accepts the fight. Devin is currently saying he accepts the fight. He just overall got to be more consistent. How come none of the Haney content creators ever bring up any other thought process other than Devin Haney is the best and youngest undisputed and everyone's afraid of Devin? Like, there's never anything constructive in there. I've bashed Ryan Garcia. I'm not even going to say bash, but I gave him the business. When he was doing that Muslim black stuff, we fed him, right? He got his issue. Like a magazine order, he got his issue, right? When he popped dirty, all that stuff. But then if he does good with Barrios, because, I mean, boxing is the Wild West, so they let him fight. It is what it is. I watched it. He did good, period. I'm always going to give credit where it's due, criticism where it's due, and that's it. Let me know how I did in this video. Best in the business. And it's not even close. Who would you favor in the rematch? Who wants it more? I need to see in the comments because some of y'all think Devin wants it more and some of y'all think that Ryan wants it more. So y'all let me know in the comments who wants the rematch more and will it happen? And the last thing I'll say, it'll be interesting because initially Ryan dropped the ball by losing a Rolly, but it looked like they were going to fight in Saudi Arabia. But now with what's going on in the world, in Iran and in Dubai, Dubai is like 10 hours from Riyadh. So I don't even know how that's going to work, them fights in Saudi right now. Again, I understand Dubai is a 10-hour flight or so from Riyadh, but that side of the world is a lot going on. So you got like hotels and airports being targeted. You know, I don't want to get too specific, but there's a lot going on. So I'll be curious to see how this plays out with like ring fights and putting fights in Saudi Arabia, given what's happening in world news. And if you don't know and you live in America, you should definitely look it up to see what's going on. Also, let me know who wins a rematch. We unpacked. We unpacked. We unpacked. We unpacked. Coming to you live, Boxingego Unpacked. Yeah. We unpacked. We unpacked. We unpacked. Coming to you. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new, but even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate, so ultimately you can realize all of your online goals. Use my affiliate link in the description and grow your channel fast.